Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate. I wanted to welcome you to this morning's video. It's going to be shorter probably than normal. We're just telling a story today after I get through some announcements. So the story today is, it is appropriate if you have children around, if you'd like to grab them. It is a story called The Yule Fairies. It's a story that I wrote last year before, so. And I don't think I've ever shared it. It's in our Circle Time Creation and Mom Lesson 16 for those of you who are Thinking, Feeling, Willing members or who purchase Circle Time Creation. So it's there. And yeah, so anyways, but first I want to start with an announcement really fast. Next week is going to be, next week we'll be, doing a video again. Our discussion for next week, I think it's next week. My brain all of a sudden just stopped. I was thinking next week was co-op etiquette, but now I'm thinking it's not. And Kelly's probably going to be like, don't tell him that. So sign up for our newsletter. And you get a list of topics. So now I can't remember. We are doing a video on co-op etiquette, but I'm thinking it might be on the 7th. And now I can't remember which one is next week. So join us next Monday morning at 6 a.m. Pacific for our next video. So I thought I'd go ahead and get started with our story. Does anybody have any questions before we get started? Do you have anything over there? Are we all good? Okay. Okay, very good. Oh, and don't forget, I know many people are just thinking about tomorrow, and I get it because I'm thinking about tomorrow too. But our mid-year review is next Saturday. So if you have not signed up for that, now would be a good time. We'll talk about it more on Wednesday after everybody's head clears from the Jingle Bells crowd and everything that's going on there. So, okay, this story is called The Yule Fairies. Now, something that I want you to know about these fairies, they're very special. This story is about the flower fairies, and these flower fairies are babies. They're very young, very, very young. This is their first winter. And Mom, this would be a story that we are a Christian family, but I still tell this story because we believe that the child of light is the Christ child. But you can tell this story as a Yule story. You can tell it as a Christmas story. Either works. They're both very interchangeable in this instance. So we have these Yule fairies. They're flower fairies, and they're very, very small. They're very young, and they're very delicate. So as fairies grow, they get stronger. They don't ever get very big. Like, I don't think they're human size. They're, probably pretty small. But they do get stronger. But when they're little, they're fairly delicate. And so they get cold very easily because they don't have a whole lot of fat on their bones. So they get cold very easily. So in this story, we have new young flower fairies and their mom. And we will also talk about their journey to see something magnificent. So, the flower fairy babies, they were so cold. They were shivering, shivering, shivering in their underground home, shivering. One little flower fairy said, Mommy, I'm so, so cold. I'm so cold. Is it going to be okay? And she said, oh, sweetheart, it's okay. We have cold now, but it'll get warmer. It'll get warmer. And then you'll see the sun, and it will be brightening up your days. Another flower fairy said, but Mom, I heard the birds say that the sun was dying, and then he won't come back again. Oh, and their mother said, oh, children, come with me. We're going to go for a little flight. Put on your winter coats. So they put on their winter coats. And they were very careful to get their wings out of those holes in the back of their coat. They put on their coats because it was cold outside. Remember, I said they're very delicate. So they put on their coats. They had a warm cup of elderberry syrup tea before they left to keep them warm while they were flying. And then their mother led them through the forest. Now this forest, it was snowy. Now where I live, there's no snow. And where we used to live, there was a lot of snow. So I sort of imagined this forest to be like that, where there was a lot of snow and it was very cold, very, very cold. But the flower fairies drank their elderberry syrup tea, so they are in good shape and they're ready to fly, and they're flying through the forest and following their mother, and there's many of them. There's many little flower fairies. There's probably, 8 or 10 little flower fairies behind this mother. And she's very confident in her flight. She flies to the center of this forest, and the fairies see as they get ready to land, there's a spiral in the center of the forest. What could that be? Of course, Mother knew. So they fly down to the entrance of the spiral. Mother turned to them and said, now, this is very reverent activity. I want you to be very quiet. We're going to see something very, very special. So they all got quiet and made sure that they were not standing next to a flower fairy that was going to make them want to say something. Because, that happens when we have many children. They want to poke at one another. And so they knew that Mother wanted them to be very reverent. And it felt very different in this part of the forest. It felt hushed and quiet and like it was a holy place. So they got very quiet. And they walked through the spiral. And as they walked through the spiral, they saw pretty lights that were laid out on the spiral. The spiral was made of pine boughs. They could see that the lights were in what looked like apples. They looked like they were candles that were lit in the apples all the way through. They went all the way through the spiral, reverent as can be, just listening to the sounds of the snow falling and the sounds of the owl in the dark, dark forest. It was cold, but they were warm in their hearts. Finally, they got to the center of the spiral, and there they saw a beautiful, beautiful woman. She was so lit up, and she looked like she was snow herself. It was just lots of white light. What they didn't see is that she was holding something. She said, come, children. Come and meet my son, the sun. He was born tonight. He was born tonight. And soon he will be high up in the sky, and he will be warming your days, and the winter will fade away and spring will come. And you will be happy. And you will help those flowers grow, and you will dance with him in the sunlight. The fairies got very excited about that. They didn't know this was going to happen. They're just babies. This was news to them. This brand new beautiful baby. They were so excited. He was so cute and so tiny. And they had a hard time imagining him being this grand light in the sky. But they trusted. They trusted because they knew that mother was telling the truth. Something in their heart helped them to know. It made their chest all warm and cozy, and they knew. And that was the spirit testifying to them that yes, this will be true. So they walked out of the spiral. And often little children like to chitter chat all the way home, even when it's dark and reverent. Not these children. They all took flight, flew home quietly, got tucked into their bed when they got back to their little earthly home. Mother tucked them all in. She said, are you still afraid? And they said, no, we're very, very excited. We're very excited for the springtime. We're very excited for the sunshine. But for now, we'll wait. Mother tucked them all in, and they went fast asleep. And she went and she took some rest herself, because all good mothers know that when your children are sleeping, you should sleep also. That is the end of our story. So, I hope that you are celebrating a big day tomorrow, that you are excited, that you are ready, and that it is everything you want it to be. And I hope that if you're not celebrating tomorrow and you have a different tradition instead, that you still have a wonderful, wonderful week. And that maybe you can get some respite from some of the crazy that's going on around you. So I hope you all have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next Monday. And I think that's all. Do you have any questions over there, Johnny?
No.
All right, very good. See you all later. Bye.